Hi, this is Jay from Lo Shu Numerology.com, and today we're going to be doing a reading for Tom. And I have Tom's birthday digits up here. They have been shuffled up for his privacy. And Tom, what I'm going to do is bring all of these digits down here into the Lo Shu Magic Square grid. The ones always go down here. The 9's up here. We've got a 6 down in this bottom corner, another 9, another 1, and another 6. Okay, this is good because we've got multiple digits in each one of those. Only 3 different digits, but we'll see how that plays out here in just a minute. So now we have all the digits down here into the magic square, and now I'm going to be looking for patterns. I'm going to be looking for rows, columns, and diagonals where each of the locations has a number in it, or each one of them is empty. So for example, we've got rows here first. This row doesn't count because it's got some and none. This one though, this one counts for sure. And this gets a minus arrow, a dashed line, a little arrow on it because it has nothing, no numbers in any of those squares. And this one doesn't get anything because it's got a mix of some and none. For columns, we have one right here off the bat, another one with nothing in any of those locations, so it gets the dashed or the minus, the negative arrow. And this column and this column, neither of those get anything. And then diagonal, we've got a diagonal right here, and again it is one where there's nothing in any of these, so we end up with a dashed arrow up in that way. This diagonal doesn't get anything. And the next thing, the final thing we do in this step is we look for locations that have multiple numbers in the location, multiple digits in each location. And we've got 3 different digits, 3 unique digits in your birth date, Tom, and each one of them has multiple. So we've got the 1s, we've got the 6s, we've got the 9s. This doesn't come up too often, so this is kind of interesting. And so we've got 3 arrows, we've got 3 numbers to work with. I am going to dig out the Lo Shu cards here and find the cards that we need to give you your reading. Be back here in just a moment. And we are back. Tom, are you ready for your reading? We're going to get started here with this first arrow, this arrow in the middle right here, and that middle section, that is for heart. And because it is a dashed arrow, it is minus heart. You have no heart, Tom. That's not what that means. This row here is for whether a person is more emotional or more logical. And because it's a minus heart, that says that you are a logical thinker. There are people who are big dreamers. And while you do have your own dreams, you're more down to earth and practical in your decision making. This is what the minus heart tells me. Here's the downside to thinking logically. Because you're so matter of fact, some people may get offended because they think that you're not caring. But it's just that you put a lot more stock in logic than in feelings. So the next arrow is this down arrow right here, and that is for thought. Are you an idea person or an action person? And with a minus thought, that tells me that you are an action person. You are the kind of person that instead of thinking through a new situation or activity, you're more likely to jump in and give it a go. This can be fun, and it can work out a lot of the time, but I will bet that you can think of times in your life where you did that and things maybe didn't turn out exactly the way you had hoped. So it's something to watch out for. The next arrow is this up diagonal arrow, and that is for willpower. And basically, are you more of an active or passive person? And this arrow with the minus tells me that you are more of a passive person. It doesn't mean that you don't get things done. Often a minus willpower arrow will show up in people who have a really strong whatever vibe. So it's not that you don't care. It's just that you're not interested in spending your time trying to take control of what happens. Now we get to the numbers. The first one, number 1, beginnings. And these are all a plus, basically. And beginning says that when something needs to get done, you're not afraid to jump in and get started. And that echoes the minus thought. You're going to put a lot of thinking into something first, or you're just going to do it. And that says you're going to do it, and this says that you're going to do it too. The next number, the 6s, communication. A lot of people who are strong in communication, they could be salespeople, they could be politicians, they could be teachers, people who have ideas and are not afraid to let other people know about them. So I mentioned politician. I don't think you would be a politician because of the minus willpower. You probably don't care about making people believe what you want them to believe, or at least not if they're not a willing participant in that. I think that one of your strengths is probably connecting people together. You know who's doing what, and if help is needed in that, you're the person who can point folks in the right direction. And finally, we get to the nines, and 9 means change. And while some people get all stressed about change happening in their lives, you welcome change at times in your life. You don't see change as a bad thing. And that, again, goes back to this minus willpower, the kind of the whatever vibe that you can have. This can go along with that because you're not necessarily trying to force a round peg into a square hole. If change happens, not a big deal. You're going to roll with it. There's your reading, Tom. I hope you got something out of it.